Gambia, Belgian company SEMLEX reacts to allegations of buying out Gambian government officials. Pa. I work in the heart of the government and know what transpires in our country. I can tell you for sure that SEMLEX has not been awarded any contract. It is in fact the opposite. Almost all the government ministers are opposed to having such a company awarded a contract in our country whilst skipping Gambians who can do the work cheaper and better. As we speak, the company is desperate in trying to get the Gambia project, but it is being rejected. So, it is now resorting to generating fake news in order to appear that it has won the project. In fact, the company only has one person in support of it, and that is Mai Fatty, the Interior Minister. He has been trying to convince the cabinet to support him to award the contract to SEMLEX, but it has been denied. It has emerged that Mai took euro from SEMLEX and he secretly visited the SEMLEX office in Brussels where the was provided. This is why Mai acts like an employee of the company and is constantly selling the company to his colleagues, and even to the extent of lying in National Assembly that if the contract is not given to SEMLEX, the Gambian government has to pay $100 million. This was found out to be a lie by Mai Fatty to scare the government into giving the contract to SEMLEX. SEMLEX is a company with a history of African politicians, according to the very respected Reuters news agencies. Here is the story: www.reuters.com web link. You will see that the well-respected africanews.com is reporting that in Congo, the bribe paid was $700,000, but Mai's bribe was only 60,000 euros. Check this link out: www.africanews.com web link. In Mozambique, where SEMLEX is being kicked out, this is the conclusion of an official investigation into the company passport contract to be cancelled. The shambles caused by the award of a dubious contract for producing passports and identity cards has continued since the contract was awarded to SEMLEX in 2009. Problems including waiting time increased from 15 to 90 days were exposed in a report by the Public Integrity Center, Centro de Integridade Pública, CIP, 2 years ago in a report How Not to Do a Public-Private Partnership. Savannah, the 14th of April, reported that government is finally trying to cancel the contract. The final straw appears to be a corrupt network of SEMLEX staff selling documents, including diplomatic passports. Savannah says that South Africa authorities reported to Mozambique that in 1 week earlier this year, 1,500 Mozambicans crossed the border with diplomatic passports. It also reports that although it receives more than half the income from identity cards and passports, SEMLEX has still only invested $25 million of the $100 million promised in the 10-year contract, and the 2 regional processing centers have never been opened. SEMLEX retains total control over the software and processing. This is carried in this link also from Africa News, alafrica.com web link. The official report about the corruption of SEMLEX in Mozambique can be read here, www.cip.org.mz web link, but be warned that it is in Portuguese. The sad fact for our country is that SEMLEX has a lot of officials in our government too, including the PS of Interior and the PS of Moise, in addition to the Minister of Interior. Even secretaries have been. Our journalists are also being not to report negative news on SEMLEX. In fact, SEMLEX is being investigated for prosecution by the Belgian government. You can read this in this report also by Reuters, www.reuters.com web link. I encourage all Gambians to read this story by Reuters to see why we need to kick SEMLEX out of our country before they become a cancer for us. All of this information is in the public domain and can be discovered through a simple Google search. But SEMLEX think that they can hoodwink us because we are Africans and therefore stupid. But I can assure you that the best sons and daughters of the Gambia are all united to make sure that we turn a new page and develop our country without corruption. The Barrow administration should be commended for rejecting SEMLEX and their corrupt officials and enablers. Written by Gambia's Deep Throat. Editor's note: we edited some of the allegations contained in the report due to editorial reasons. Mr. Mayfati could not be reached for his own side of the story. Below is a reaction from the SEMLEX management. Written by Ralph Hadger. That SEMLEX was never granted a contract by the Gambia government to issue biometric passports and ID cards to Gambians. Your response? Answer: SEMLEX was granted the contract for biometric ID cards and other services by the previous government after a multi-sectoral task force considered our offer together other offers and deemed our proposal better for Gambia from a technical and financial point of view. This contract was terminated without cause in clear violation of the express terms of our agreement. We were subsequently invited again by the new ministry and I met the task force. As it stands, we are aware that our proposal was sent to Cabinet for approval and we have not signed the contract contrary to what was reported. We trust the process is transparent despite all the noise and slander campaign meted out by parties with vested interests. We are waiting patiently for the competent authorities to communicate their decision at the right time. That Cabinet never approved your request. That Interior Minister Mayfati is the only one in Cabinet lobbying to have your company granted license to operate in the country. How true is this? We are not in Cabinet and not privy to what is approved or not approved by Cabinet. The Honourable Minister is not our lobbyist. We have no relationship whatsoever with him. We are dealing with the institution and the Permanent Secretary is our point of the contact as the head of the administration. Our dealings with government is official and at arm's length. I challenge anyone to substantiate these baseless allegations. Ask any minister whether I have visited them or their offices to lobby for SEMLEX. Our product, service and experience speaks for itself. We have a proven track record in this sector and not rookies trying or pretending to be experts. That SEMLEX is allegedly using money to bribe Gambian government officials so that clearance can be given to okay your operations in the county. How true is that? This is false, baseless and malicious. This is coming from interested parties who do not have the guts or temerity to say it publicly or openly because we will sue them for slander, libel if they dare make baseless allegations without any factual basis. Unfortunately, some of your own members, journalists, bloggers, have not even bothered to hear SEMLEX's side of the story and clearly have vested interests. This is not professional journalism. Has your company ever bribed a Gambia government official €65,000 to help expedite the process of allowing your company to operate in the country? SEMLEX has never bribed any Gambian official. This is so ridiculous. We have heard of this story going around and we challenge the gossip mongers to substantiate this claim or make it public. We will defend our name in public and will take the necessary steps to seek redress. I believe you mean Euro 65,000.00, not 65,000,000. When was SEMLEX granted the green light to issue biometric passports and ID cards to Gambians? Who approved it? Not true, we are not in the passport game as far as Gambia is concerned. Another company is doing the passport and we have no affiliation whatsoever with them. Has your company ever dealt with President Kabila's government of Congo? No. As a company, we dealt with the government of Congo. Contrary to all the rumors, we don't determine the price of passports, countries do. We have signed a contract in DRC to produce e-passports. After a process of consultation to different companies, Gemalto, Iris, Zates, it appears that we were the best choice. The contract was approved by the authorities and signed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. How affordable are your services? We are present in more than 20 countries around the world, where we produce different documents for many governmental agencies. Our model to support governments on the long term in their mission has been a total success, as we take care of all aspects. Today many competitors are trying to follow our model but never with our experience. Our prices are negotiated and accepted by the host government, in this case the Gambia. The final price of the ID document will always be determined by the host government. Reuters recently reported that your company was under investigations in Belgium. How true is the story? This is blatantly untrue. We are a going concern registered in Belgium and have all the required certifications from the Belgian authorities. We enjoy good relations with multilateral associations, institutions such as IATA, Interpol, European Commission. Visit our website, or next time you are in Europe, visit our offices in Belgium to appreciate what type of company we are. We are not a briefcase company. We have a track record and the financial capacity to execute, build, operate and transfer projects that guarantees quality. I can send our sample cards for you to compare with what you had in the Gambia. Editor's note: the piece above was published on July 19, 2007. Gambia, biometric passport controversy. Mai Fatty challenges Gambians and the people around the world to provide evidence that he has been bribed by SEMLEX. Gambia's Interior Minister Mai Fatty has vehemently denied receiving bribes from the Belgian biometric passport and identity card company SEMLEX, so that the company can be awarded contract by the Gambia government to issue biometric passports and ID cards to Gambians. The minister made the denial on Thursday during a news conference held at his office at the Canaving Municipal Council locality. I want to be very clear here. Panderim Bio Freedom Radio is asking whether I received bribes, or whether I was bribed by SEMLEX in order to award them a contract. First and foremost, there is no award of contract to SEMLEX. I did not award any contract. The contract, as I explained, is very clear, was awarded by the former President Yahya Jammeh. He cancelled it through an executive directive against the advice of Ministry of Justice. When we came around, we followed the same advice of the Ministry of Justice under the previous government. And we are seeking to renegotiate the terms, Mr. Fatty said while being surrounded by service chiefs of the police, the prison, fire and ambulance services, and anti-narcotic officials. Whether I have been bribed? I have not been bribed. And if anybody, who has any evidence to show that I have been bribed, please, I welcome you from any part of the world to come and show that, Fatty said. Sounding confident during his deliberations, Mr. Fatty said the previous contract signed between the former Jammeh government and SEMLEX was not fair to the government. He said under the past contract the Gambia was supposed to get 30% of the monies accrued from the biometric passport and ID card contract, while 70% of the proceeds derived from contract goes into the pockets of SEMLEX. Hence, he said, the old contract is being renegotiated by the new government. Mr. Fatty also defended his recent statement in Parliament that Pristine Gambia Limited was not involved in the production of biometric passports. The other question is, whether I stand by my statement in Parliament that Pristine was not involved in biometric passport production? Yes, I stand by that. Pristine was never involved in biometric passport production of any nature. I stand by that statement, Fatty remarked. The question of an open tender for the biometric project is not feasible at this time. Fatty maintains that the old SEMLEX/Gambia government contract is still valid. The question is, will we make an open tender so that others can come forward? We already have a contract. We already have a valid contract on the table. This is our position. We already have a valid contract on the table. We are seeking to renegotiate that, he added. Mr. Fatty also went further to back up his claims that the contract between the two parties is still valid. May I Fatty again? For those who said there was no contract signed with SEMLEX, here is the contract. This is the contract signed between the Gambia government and SEMLEX. This is the signature column signed. The signature column is here. It was signed on the 16th of June 2016 by them, on behalf of the Gambia government, also on the 16th on the same date. These are the provision of the contract between the Gambia government and SEMLEX. There is a valid contract. The Interior Minister also clarified that the $48 million lab project was at no cost to government. He said the investor is a Senegalese national, who is working with other partners to introduce a forensic lab in the Gambia. Fatty challenged reporters to visit the Ministry of Justice, where he said, the company has been incorporated. Fatty says under the New Deal, the forensic company will enjoy 5 years tax-free regime, and will help to train Gambian security officials on forensic research and analysis. He said government is also expected to provide land for the Senegalese company to operate on the Pa Ebu Sanyang, rented property by the Ministry of Interior. Fatty said there was no underhand dealings in the lease contract. He said the Ministry of Finance and Vice President's office handled the leasing contract. He said he doesn't know the amount involved in the said lease. Written by Panderim Bai. Editor's note, the story above was published on July 27, 2000.